Hello, hello. Welcome to the Five Talents Podcast. I'm your host, Abel Pacheco. I interview the top commercial real estate investors and industry experts so you can learn from their experiences. So if you're an investor, a high W-2 earner, or real estate or tech sales professional that wants to invest in real estate without having to manage properties or leave your day job, then this podcast is for you. Or if you're already investing in real estate, but you're doing it part-time and you want to become a full-time multifamily or full-time commercial real estate investor, this podcast is for you too. You're going to learn a ton. You will learn from real-life multifamily investors and other professionals in the industry. They're going to share their blueprints for success, and I'm super excited that you're here. So I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, hello. This is Abel Pacheco, your host for the Five Talents Podcast. We are super excited today. We have another amazing guest, Maurice. How's it going, brother? How's it going?
Man, I'm doing okay, man. Just happy to be here with you finally. After all this time, we've been trying to connect.
I know, man. I'm super excited. Our listeners are going to be in for a super awesome show. How do you pronounce your last name correctly? I don't want to butcher it.
Philogene.
It was what I thought. I just didn't want to mispronounce it, bro. Well, hey, for those listeners, if you don't know Maurice Philogene, you absolutely need to connect to them. You're going to hear a little bit more about his story here, but you absolutely need to get in this gentleman's world. He was a former federal agent, a former street cop, and executive at one of these big, large entities that I actually used to work with in my IT professional world, Accenture. And the man is on fire. He's living life. He is a real estate investor, is one of the reasons I had him on here. However, he identifies as, one of those individuals that's living life to the fullest, that real estate allows him to do all these things. And the man's an international businessman. He's done so many amazing stuff in real estate and outside on, I think, 13-ish deals, apartment complexes, multifamily, commercial real estate, doing land deals. Man, on fire. Maurice, let me turn it over to you. Like, in your own words, tell us who you are and what you do, and we'll just start a great conversation, man.
Damn, man. I appreciate that, brother. So just like you said, my name is Maurice. I happen to do a lot of other things, but the biggest thing that I do is live extremely well, try and live my life from a freedom perspective, and take advantage of everything this big blue planet has to offer. That's the first thing. Obviously, this is a real estate show, so from that perspective, right now I'm actually talking to you from Beirut, Lebanon. The reason I'm here is because I'm doing land deals on the island of Cyprus, which is not too far from here, buying land and developing apartments that just started. That is more of a lifestyle thing. That is not a money thing. I don't want to be the American who shows up and goes to the restaurants. I want to be an active part of the community where people know me. Before that, I'm also a founding partner of Pacheco Capital, which started in late 2019 with 4 other partners. We realized after me sponsoring a deal for some of the other members that we were better together. We have developed an enormous amount of momentum, closing our 12th deal about 2 weeks ago, 12th apartment complex, and we're closing our 13th complex today. And then we have our largest, a 240 unit portfolio that's closing in about 6 weeks that we're working on now. So that's fantastic. Prior to that, I was a single family investor. I think that's the biggest thing. I have more pride on the single family stuff because I started that when I was 21, just because I wanted freedom. I read Personal Finance for Dummies. There was if you remember that, that whole series of books, right?
The yellow books, man. Those yellow books got me through a lot of stuff.
I have one in the back bedroom here that's International Real Estate for Dummies. But
all good knowledge, man. It's good knowledge.
Knowledge. But I started investing in single family real estate and realized that if I paid those suckers off, I could create passive income. Time is the real asset. That's the only thing we can never get back. Time was the ultimate. And if you can divorce your ability to make money from having to physically be somewhere, I figured that out when I was 21. And then in 2014, I hit more passive income than I was making from my normal job. but I didn't quit my job. I kept
Yeah,
going,
look at that, man. That's
right?
amazing. Yeah.
That's kind of my arc on the real estate side, and then there's some other things that we can touch on as well.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Congratulations on that run, and congratulations on all your success, and then living your life the way you want to live it now, man. That's amazing. So
Yeah.
not only do you go live your life the way you want to, you also help others along the way, the communities you invest in, your team members, your investors on your deals, and probably multiple countless people on all those deals. There's the title people, there's the brokerage people, there's the attorneys, there's the finance. So many people win when we do these deals.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. So it's
Yeah.
really
Well, so I am a servant at heart. Military guy for 22 years. Joined the local police department just to be able to give back to my local community in a meaningful way. Now the way that I do it is through real estate, or at least one of the ways I do it is through real estate, because as you know, real estate is one of those vehicles that can generate wealth, generate passive income. This is the type of stuff that can change people's lives dramatically. Divorce people from the rat race, prepare for the next generation. It is not insignificant. And because I'm self-taught and have all this knowledge in my head, the best thing I can do is give it back to people. And if folks can, whether it's take my information and go do some other stuff or invest with Quattro Capital, I'm good with that too. But there's so many ways we can help out, including our partners who benefit from it along the way, as well as the residents who live in the communities too.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited that we're here. So let's dig in a little bit, because one of the things I always love to talk about is like how someone goes from a everyday average Joe to somebody like yourself living to the fullest, if I could say that. And you I don't know your background. Did you come from money? Did your family were they able to travel across the world and do business, or were you kind of the first in your family to kind of transition from there to where you are now?
Yeah, I'm the generation breaker. I'm the one who in my family.
Yeah.
Listen, I come from an immigrant family. My family's from Haiti. So me and my brother are first generation in the States. My family, my father and mother gave me the best upbringing. I grew up in inner city Boston, and as soon as I started getting in trouble, they moved me and my brother out to the suburbs, which was fantastic. And they stressed education. So I was thrown into a private school as soon as I started getting in trouble, and then made my way to University of Virginia by way of a military scholarship. Hence, I went into the military. But the blueprint in my family was education, work hard, save your money, and go to school. That was the education, and I'm okay with that.
Same. Mine too. Same. My dad, my mom. That's what they knew.
Yes. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. But as I mentioned to you, I landed on something, started reading books. We didn't have Google back in 2002, or at least it was just coming online. It was Yahoo back then. The way it all started for me was I bought a place to live. It appreciated by 30 grand in a few months. I went to the library. My dad explained equity. And then by the end of the year, I had bought 10 more places. That's just how it started. I had
10 in a year.
I just went after it.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! Keep going. I'll come back to this, but keep going, please.
Yeah, well, so that's how it started. And at the same time, I read 10 books in that one library sitting. 10 books, because I was stunned that I had made somebody's salary in a transaction.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. And for someone like me, growing up in the inner city, I was never broke, but we didn't have a ton. Okay, I had a very stable upbringing, but that's how it all started. And then I kind of developed the muscle of just doing stuff and course correcting as I went. And I made a ton of mistakes, but got myself up to 35 single family homes, paid off 18 of them, and then switched over into multifamily and have just kept going ever since.
Wow, man. What an inspiring story. And it's just, to see you go from one to the other, and your dad explaining it to you, picking up the education. So you read 10 books in a sitting, finance, equity, but learning real estate. You just it clicked. I guess not only that, well, you read 10 books and then it clicked, right?
It clicked, but I will give credit to, and I cannot remember her name. I'm gonna have to look in my archives and see if she signed one of my contracts. But it was a real estate agent that helped me, like an early 70s woman. I don't know if she's with us today or not, but she told me, look, rather than going after bigger deals, like go after, instead of the big dodo egg, go after 12 dozen or a dozen smaller eggs. So I started buying condos that were like 80,000, 90,000, 100,000, and just read books on those. And I literally stuck with that. I think that's the difference. I stuck with that for 15 years. Wow. And there were many shiny objects that presented themselves, many shiny objects, but I never quit that path, just kept executing. Paycheck, cash flow from this property, save enough, buy the next property, 2 cash flows, combine it with the salaries, buy the third one, and I just press repeat for 14 years. I call it systematic patience, and it just over time worked. So I was willing to do the work, and it worked out.
Man, what an amazing thing! And so, how did you initially? How did you go from the 1 house to 10 in a year? How did that happen?
Timing was on my side. In 2003, 4, and 5, there were all those no-doc loans going on, if you remember that. I took advantage. I remember his name. His first name's Al, but I won't say his last name. But I had a very aggressive mortgage broker that I found. And he was like cranking out loans for me left and right. It was crazy. And I was only like 25 years old, But
you were almost like this exception. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I said you sounded like the exception to that rule, where most people were trying to buy more house than they could probably afford and getting the yes. It sounded like you were being a very good steward of this investment and saying, "Oh, you're going to give me the loan? Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to take every one of them and crank on it."
I just stuck with it because you know what, Abel? When you look at $100,000 property, you can see the finish line of paying it off.
Yeah.
That was the key. That was the key. So I just pressed repeat for years and years and years and paid them off. And I could have done other things that would have made way more money, but my 100% focus was on financial freedom through passive income. So I was like, I'm just going to keep doing this until it works. And I never veered off course.
Yeah. Well, and it's amazing, man. So, and kudos, 35, you had 18 of them paid off. You were making as much as you were making in the professional world. And as I understand it, now a senior executive at a pretty high level company, Accenture, that's not a small amount. And what was that motivation to say, you know what, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep working and investing at the same time. Where, some people may say, hey, that was the goal and I'm done. And that but you're doing both now. I mean, where's that motivation, or, why?
Yeah. The why at the time was freedom. I didn't like the idea of sitting behind a desk for the rest of my life. But when I did get to 2014, where I had 6 figures of passive coming in, you start to realize that life is not about money, because I wasn't any happier. You need goals to go after. So in late 2014, I realized that I wasn't growing as a person anymore, because I was just executing the same plan, and I had achieved the goal of financial freedom. So I sought out a web seminar. I found multifamily, and I'm like, I'm going to do this now, because I knew I needed to grow. I needed a challenge. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
There was nothing about single family that I needed to do anymore. So I flipped over, and that was the why, because I wanted a challenge. I wanted to be better. I knew about economies of scale, And I also knew, and I've articulated to you a little bit about the whole freedom principle issue, about geographic freedom, financial freedom, time freedom was a huge thing. I did have most of that, but what I didn't have yet was legacy for my family, right? I got two kids.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? What options are they gonna have? What is their name gonna mean? What assets am I gonna hand down? And the reason I never quit working, one, I like to work. I want to be a productive member of society. You don't go be a police officer for the paycheck, as far as I'm concerned. And keeping the jobs was like throwing lighter fluid on the fire. It just accelerated the pace towards all my goals. And I still work to this day, right? I'm 45 years old. I still have 2 active employers. I'm starting to slow them down now, but mainly because I don't want to be 75, not experiencing life the way that I want. I'm young, healthy now. I feel like I've made enough from the active income side. I'm going to move on, but that's why I kept the jobs. That was the motivation.
Yeah. I'm 42. I have 2 little ones also, and just grinding. You know, for a lot of years, there's a lot of similarities. I think you had more success than I had in the single family. We got up to 8 houses. I never got to 35, but a lot of what you're saying resonates with, man. I want to go do, you know, more. I want to have more of life, and you know, we're young. I enjoy working and can work hard now, so might as well just get it done. And so I'm grinding as hard as I can, and it's inspiring hearing you and your story as well, man. And also, thank you for your service.
Pleasure.
Military, police officer, all that good stuff, man. This is really cool.
Hello. You're listening to the 5 Talents Podcast. I'm your host, Abel Pacheco. If you're enjoying this podcast, then I know you're serious about achieving financial freedom. Are you ready to create your own path through multifamily investing for yourself and your family? Then I know you're going to appreciate our Investor's Guide to Multifamily Investing. It's titled Tackling Commercial Real Estate the Easy Way. We use this guide to invest ourselves in $93 million worth of real estate. So we're going to show you the basic mechanics of multifamily syndications and how to evaluate your next passive investment opportunity. So the best part, if you subscribe to our podcast now, leave us a review and a rating. I'm going to give you a free copy of our ebook. So please take a moment to do that now. Once you've done that, go to 5tcre.com/ebook, 5tcre.com/ebook. Make sure to let us know you left a review, and we're going to send you a free copy. So thank you so much for subscribing to the 5 Talents Podcast. We really appreciate it.
So let's talk for a minute. You know, help some passive investors, help some active investors. I think we have a mixture of listeners, probably both. Some people that are, you know, just truly have their W-2, have their job, that maybe business owners, entrepreneurs, and they're all in on that profession, all in on that job, but they know they need to invest in real estate. They're just not going to do what we do. And then we have some people that are probably more active, right? So let's talk, you know, first for that passive investor, you know, where do you even get started? How do I even think about this? And, you know, there's investing stuff, there's mindset stuff. Feel free to hit wherever you want to, you know, because you've got a lot of wisdom, and I think in this area.
4 letters, GOAL. What is the goal? That's it, GOAL. If your goal is to be financially free, then what is that financial freedom number on a monthly basis? You can cover, you know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? What covers your basic needs and then gives you just a little bit more so you can live life the way that you want to live, okay? I'm going to give a great example of a professional who is not in the corporate world, who's on a 5-year plan to break free from everything because she knew her goal of $10,000 a month. So what she did was, okay, if I need $10,000 a month, I'm going to buy a triplex. This is in Western Maryland. She bought the triplex with a little bit. I helped her buy that triplex, just some coaching. She did it on her own. She's living in one, renting out the other 2. It cash flows $800 a month. When she got it with an FHA. When she moves out at the end of the year, it will cash flow $2,000 a month. You know that she'll be able to raise the rents incrementally over the years, right? So she's going to press repeat on the plan for 5 years. That's it. At the end of 5 years, she'll have at least $10,000 of cash flow, and she can go do whatever the hell she wants to do. The other example is a friend of mine who worked at Accenture as well. He was buying condos with me as well. He only bought 4. Condos were booming at the time, but he bought 4. He bought 4. He sold one of them because it appreciated. He paid off 2 and then used his salary systematically to pay off the third. He makes $4,500 a month cash flow from that. He picked up and left. He went to Thailand and he became a bartender and he met his wife.
That's enough for him.
It was enough. So when you say, like, you know, what's the advice? What is your goal? Because your goal should not be to just copy people that you see on LinkedIn. Your goal should be associated to, you know, what it is for your life. Now, a lot of people, they want to stay in the W-2 world. They like being a senior executive or a police officer or a developer or a coder. That's fine. Maybe you don't even need to invest. What is the goal of why you are trying to use real estate as a tool? Once you figure out the goal, then back into the number of deals that you need to do to hit that goal. Either find an operator that will do it for you, which will be a little bit slower, or find a mechanism by which you can do it on your own. It is tiring when people are like, yeah, I'm getting into real estate. And I say, why? Well, because I want to get rich. What does rich really mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think the richest people in the world are the people that have time, right? And you can create time with just a little bit of passive income. So that would be my advice to even passive investors and active investors. But for the active guys and gals, just get, you know, this thing about fear is just a lack of knowledge. That is all that it is. It's just because there is a gap in information and you are worried about it. I don't know about international real estate, but I got a partner who does, and I'm partnered with him, and now we're doing deals together, right? He bridged the gap for me, and then I'm going to add value to him as a person, as a businessman. So the goal, I think people should just realize what the goal is and then see if real estate is a good tool to hit that goal and not just jump into real estate for the sake of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it, man. GOAL. I got 4 letters, and that's it. You know, it's funny. I hear I'm going to go do real estate a lot, and I'm going to be an investor, and I'm going to go make some money. And something I used to tell all my I've been a sales guy for a lot of years, like 20 years. And I've been a sales leader and a sales manager a lot of those years, executive director, all that good stuff. But it comes back down to what is it that people want? What is it that you want? And when we used to tie a goal with a personal desire, motivation, what do you really want to go do? That's when you that's when, you know, my top guys would light themselves on fire and just really crush it. This is what I used to, as you're saying this, I was like, oh yeah, I remember we used to do this. So when my sales guy would say, I want to make as much money as possible, I go, that's not a real goal. It's not specific. It's measurable. It's not a goal. It's a wish. It's a hope. And it's not, you know, not even measurable, bro. So let's get an exact dollar. What is it that you want? And they go, well, I want to make $100,000. I would still go say, why? And when we would come out with a one-on-one, like, I'm trying to buy my first house, I would say, okay, you've got to go. How much does it cost to do that? Well, I have $20,000 is the down payment I need. Okay, good. How much are your living expenses on a monthly basis? $4,000 today. I'm like, okay, well, cool. You need $48,000, 4 times 12 a year, plus this $20K down payment, plus your, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Let's add all this stuff up. Now they had a specific number that would say, I want to do this in the next 6 months. Okay, great. That means, and what we would do is to set a target above that and say, how much do you need to sell by X, Y, Z? Well, how many calls do you have to make? How many closing do you have to do? What's your average size order? And we would work it backwards. And my top people would just crush it because they knew they were driving for a vacation for their family, a new house. Some single guys wanted a new watch or whatever, you know, whatever the goal was, right? And that's what they would drive for. And I see the same issues with real estate investing people. They're like, I want to go make some money. I'm like, man, you got to get super specific, just like you're talking about right now, brother.
When you have a purpose, it makes the bullshit easy. That's my statement to people. When you have a purpose, it makes the bullshit easy. From 2008 to 2013, I worked full-time at Accenture during the day and full-time as a police officer during the night for almost 5 years. Because I wanted to be a servant to the community, but I wanted the money to invest in real estate. I didn't want to give one up for the other. I had a purpose, so I was willing to sleep at lunchtime at the office and crawl into the car and do all that stuff. It is very easy when you have a purpose. The reason why I'm here in the Mediterranean today is not because I'm trying to make millions and millions of dollars. That'll be a good byproduct. But it's because before I punch out of this life, before I punch out of this planet, I want to be able to experience living as a respected member of the community in a foreign place that is nothing like Washington, D.C., Boston, and New York, where I'm from. I want that experience before I punch off this planet. Because I have this purpose, I'm willing to get after it. But if the purpose is only money, it is fleeting. You will eventually make a mistake. When the purpose is helping people or doing something good for you or legacy for your family or giving back to a community, you will get shit done like nobody's business.
Yeah, man, I love it. My wife reminds me from time to time, and my wife's amazing. She's a good support system to everything I do. She goes, remember, it's not about money. We're not working for money. We're working for time. And she's like, we're buying time right now. So just remember that in the grand scheme of things. And I go, yep, that's exactly it. And as you talk, even to go a step further, it's like we're buying time for our daughter, time for our son, and we're paying the price now. My daughter's 3.5 and my son's 1.5. And it's like, man, paying the price now for their future and their legacy. And we've been able to give back as well through some of our deals. And we write some checks that are, have commas in them. And outside of church, I've never been able to do that. And now I'm like, wow, this is, we've got some nonprofits and things that we can in the deals that we're doing. And it's really cool. Anyways, all this stuff is just super fun. And I'm excited to talk with you about it.
And that's what real estate is, right? It gives us options. It gives us options for life. It gives us options for philanthropy, which is a big deal for me. And then, I'll add this one tidbit. If we live to 79, which is average, that's 28,000 days. I've got 12,406 left or something like that. I know exactly how much time I'm going to be on this planet, assuming everything goes well. Do you really want to be wasting it, right? Like competing with the Jones or trying to keep up with the Joneses or all those other things. Use real estate or something, use anything, any tool to try and maximize your time on this planet. I give myself credit for that. I've been very aware of that since my early 20s, which is how I've gotten to over 100 countries and had all these experiences, because experiences pay you forever. Memories pay you forever. It keeps on going and going. Money will pay you in an instant and be gone.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for a minute here, let's talk about these countries. Holy moly, when did you start traveling? How did it happen? I want to hear more about this.
The quick version is I'm a French speaker because I'm Haitian. I had an exchange student stay at my house when I was 15. I went to his family's house the next summer. His dad proceeded to drive us around France in an old 83 Range Rover for 30 days. Changed my life. French castles, fields, farms, funerals, weddings, French Boy Scouts, French swim competition. French girls, drinking wine and smoking a little bit of weed back in the day. It was just.
You had a good time, man.
Yeah. The world was a lot bigger than inner city Boston. And the way it made me feel as a person, I never forgot it. So anything I've ever done in life, even at Accenture, even with the military, I've always steered towards international assignments because you are going back to a beginner's mindset when you go to a new place, right? It is something you and I know nothing about. And our mind fires in a different way when you go to a country you know nothing about because you have to readjust. This is what life was in elementary, grade school, junior high, high school, college. It was all new. And then we get into the professional world and we start doing this press repeat thing, which I don't.
Yeah, for years and years and years and days and days and days and years,
That's the way it is, brother. So the way that I break it up is I travel. A good example is 2019. I went to Finland 5 times over a 4-month period. Just, long weekends and stuff. I went up to the Arctic. I met native Swami people. Like, I want to learn. I want to learn. And that's outside of like jumping into business endeavors, one of the best ways you can do it is get to know people around the world. And it has given me a sense of empathy for everything and everybody, because I've seen a lot of what exists on this planet. Yeah, man, I'm not gonna stop. I don't want to see every country on the planet. I don't. I just want to continue to experience life the way that I feel it was intended, and that's not pressing repeat every day for me. For me, I'm not saying it's for everyone. I'm saying for me, that's not what's intended.
Yeah, that's great, man. I love traveling, love getting out there. I haven't been nearly as many countries as you have, but every time, we go, we come back and we're like, man, that was amazing. And that trip when you were so young, 30 days, that opened a whole new paradigm. Like, oh, this is life. And, it sounds like for years you're trying to get back to that time and place, which is, it's a fantastic mindset to have when you're a young individual experiencing life at the fullest right there, right?
Wonderful, man. It's wonderful. And it has made me a better person for experiencing places, like not experiencing as a tourist, Abel, but like truly immersing in culture, where my key performance indicator is, do I know the taxi driver's first name who always drives me around? Did I meet Rochelle at the grocery store? Is somebody going to pick me up the next time I come back because I've invested my time in them? Which is why I'm in Lebanon now for the 13th time. I've been in Cyprus now for the 5th time, because I've made friends and colleagues who are giving to me, and I feel like I can give to them. It's making me a better business person, a better real estate investor, a better human. So I'm glad that I have that side of my life.
Yeah. And you know what I love too, hearing your story and just kind of experiencing is, when you're good to people, good to others, good for team, helping individuals, for whatever reason, like more and more just comes back. More and more opportunities, more investors, more doors are open. You have more potential when you're thinking in this mindset, like more so than if you're trying to, hoard everything for yourself or not help others, right? It's a very, very virtuous cycle is what I've experienced and what I've seen in other people's lives as well.
Yeah, man. And if you're tithing or doing a portion of your deals, revenue going to good causes, we do the same thing at Quattro. We have 4 pillars: people, property, profits, but the 4th one is philanthropy. Beirut had a big explosion August 4th of last year, which was the 3rd largest explosion in human history. I was supposed to be here then because my birthday was August 3rd. The explosion was on August 4th, but we were closing on a deal in Tennessee, so I was delayed. The explosion happened. The Quattro crew quickly raised like 25 grand in a week, which I translated here to about 80,000 worth of buying power, pretty much getting money, through the black market or what have you, and giving it to different causes. Like, it just makes you realize I can go volunteer at the soup kitchen for 1 hour, which is great too. But the beautiful thing about what you and I do, we can create this wealth, and then I can write a check for $50,000 and go move an issue faster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We feel very empowered, brother. I'm very empowered by real estate because I get to help people with it.
Yeah, what an amazing mindset. And I thought we were all here just to make a lot of money. We've got so many other opportunities, and it's great, bro. So, before you go too, let's make sure we capture this. And, if anybody wants to get into your world or, want to participate in some of the things you have going or invest or whatever, just learn a little bit more about you. Where do they go? How do they contact you?
Yep. So I'm going to be true to what I said from a life perspective, which is the most important to me. It's Instagram. Just Maurice Philogene is my handle on Instagram. We didn't get a chance to talk about it today, but I espouse freedom principles there. financial freedom, time freedom, geographic freedom, having a purpose, and then building relationships with people. Relationships is how we grow, which is why I'm floating all over the place, doing different types of business and meeting amazing people like you. So that's Instagram. I am Maurice Philogene at LinkedIn, equating things from a business perspective. Quattro Capital is my real estate firm. We are an add value outfit, buying B and C properties in B and C areas, great markets, heavily in the Southeast right now. You can find me there at the Quattro, Quattro way, thequattroway.com. And then I'm also just MauricePhilogene.com for my coaching, because I help people exit the W-2 using real estate, or not even real estate. Some people just need to quit their damn jobs and move somewhere where they're just happy, right? And maybe have a virtual job and float around the planet for a while. So MauricePhilogene.com for that. And one last thing, I love to talk to people, man. Like I honestly got nothing to sell. I got nothing to sell except for giving information on how we can live life to the fullest. And I'm sure there's somebody out there who can educate me more. So please, like, reach out, connect. This is what we're supposed to do, man. We're supposed to help each other, break bread together, create with each other, not compete with each other. So anyone who ever reaches out, I always reach back.
All right. I love it. Thank you so much. What great mindsets. And I do, I encourage the same people that are listening right now. I think you just need to realize we're trying to do all this stuff, not so we can stay in our bubbles, but we want exposure. We want to talk to you, connect with you, reach out. Otherwise, you know, me and Maurice had a great conversation before we started hitting the official record, and I'm appreciative of it, but we're also trying to reach others. So connect with Maurice, reach out to him, let him know you heard him on this show. I would be blessed to know that. And, you know, you guys do that. And I talk to so many other people too that are kind of in our similar position, Maurice. I say it's funny because you put your contact information out there, you put it out, and then the number of people that actually connect is such a small percentage. And then I think there's so many people listening that go, oh, if I only wish I could, or if I only, you know, if I could just do that, I'm like, what's the next step? I'm like, man, make a phone call. Just start with the small action. So go reach out to me and Maurice. We'd love to connect with you, man. So thank you very much. Yeah, so before you go, you did mention some freedom principles, and I want to hear these before I let you go, man. So I know it's late over there. You're on the other side of the world. Tell us about these freedom principles before you go.
Yeah, so I have come to believe that if you can capture or focus on one or more of freedom principles, as I call them, life gets happier. And that's financial freedom, which to me is more passive income than expenses. It does not mean you have to have $10 million. Bullshit. Yeah. You can have a couple grand coming in a month and be the happiest person in the world. Yeah. Financial freedom, time freedom is very important because it's our only true wealth asset. You can divorce your ability to make money from having to physically be somewhere with the W-2. Geographic freedom, all that travel stuff. I am not built to sit in one place my entire life. I think some people are, and I think that's okay as well. But it's it's important to be mobile. You have to go where opportunity is. You have to go where there are new relationships, go to see new things. On the geographic freedom side, Abel, I even digitize my mail, right? I don't receive mail anywhere. So when I need to come to the Mediterranean, I'm gone for 3-4 months at a time. I just log on and look at it. So I just, I've automated everything to have more geographic freedom. And then the last two are important: freedom of purpose. I didn't become a police officer because of the money. I became a police officer because I wanted to give back to my community. And just like you, I am putting a certain percentage of my revenues to good causes. That's my purpose for getting up every day. I want to help people. And then lastly is relationships. I am not talking about networking. That's easy. I am talking about connecting with people in meaningful ways. And if you are doing things that stop you from making new relationships, toxic relationships, for example, stop you from making new relationships, or even a job that keeps you behind a desk for 18 hours a day, you're so exhausted you can't go connect with an Abel or a Maurice or a Judy or whoever who is the key to your next chapter in life, but you're stuck doing other things. So it is very important that you have the ability to make new, meaningful relationships. So I focus everything that I do within the lens of those 5 principles.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying those. And man, they're good visibility to those. Those are big portions of our life and big portions of our day. And you got to be cognizant of what's happening with your time and where you spend it. And, you know, at the higher level, what are your GOALS? what are your goals? And,
Your goals, your goals. That's right.
Yeah. So this is great. Well, Maurice, is there anything we didn't talk about today, or something you wanted to hit on, or, you know, just anything you were hoping I asked that we just never got to? Anything else, man? I just want to don't leave it out.
I won't leave it out. I think the last thing I'll add, there are a lot of folks in the W-2 world right now who don't want to be there. You do not have to do things the way that society told you to do it. You do not have to climb the corporate ladder and be the top number 1. It is okay to be a solid 18, like I was, and then use that amazing income to switch that active into passive income and do some other things with it. I have pushed back, and I think a lot of people can push back on this notion of this is the path that is defined for what I am supposed to be doing. I would just encourage people to think about, again, what you said. What is your goal for being on this planet? And is that thing that you are spending 18 hours a day on the right vehicle to get there? Are you truly living? Or are you existing? I could probably make way more money sitting in the East Coast, but I have this deep desire to spend time in the Med and to spend time in the Aegean region. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to find ways to do that. Folks will say, "Oh man, you had a trajectory in the corporate life and da-da-da." I don't need titles, man. I need experiences and good relationships and good food and friends and stuff like that. Real estate is a very good way to help get there. But to be honest, you just have to make conscious decisions about how you're spending your time. And I just want to put that stuff out there, man, because the more people have heard my story, the more they're like, "Oh man, I never would have thought I could have done something like that." I'm like, of course you can. You just have to push back on what people are telling you to do. Just define your own path and get after it and be consistent with it. So I'll just throw that parting shot out there if I can. That's my soapbox for the day.
Yeah, man, this has been an amazing conversation. Maurice Philogene, I'm super excited you're here, and thank you very much for your time. We're humbled, we're grateful, we're appreciative. Thank you so much. And we'll say goodbye to the listeners. Hopefully you catch our next show. Go leave us a podcast review, subscribe, rate, leave a written review, tag Maurice, tell him you heard him here, man. Do all the things, and we appreciate it. And thank you very much for your time. This is Abel Pacheco. I'm your host for the 5 Talents Podcast. Maurice, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the 5 Talents Podcast with your host, myself, Abel Pacheco. Each week, we're going to bring you interviews from industry experts and commercial real estate investors who followed their dreams and achieved massive success. Before you leave, let me ask you a few questions. Did you enjoy this episode? Did you learn something valuable? Was your mind stretched to what's possible and what you can achieve? Do you want other experts just like the one you heard today? If you answered yes to any or all of those questions, then please take a moment to subscribe to the 5 Talents Podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and most importantly, leave us a written review. Tell us what you liked, tell us your favorite guest, give us any feedback. I'm excited to learn and improve so you can get a more valuable show. So thank you again for subscribing to the 5 Talents Podcast.